10 years ago, on football's biggest stage, André Schürrle stepped in as a game-changing substitute against Argentina. In the 113th minute of the 2014 World Cup final, he delivered a stunning cross to Mario Götze, who scored Germany's World Cup winning goal in Brazil. But since that tournament, Schürrle's life has taken a lot of unconventional turns. He retired from professional football at the age of 29 in 2020. The Brazil World Cup turned out to be the peak of his career, and the next 6 years were fairly harsh on him professionally. So harsh, in fact, that he didn't just start contemplating his playing career, but rather his whole life. He came to the conclusion that he had barely lived until now, always caught in the hustle and burst of football his entire life. While his professional career wasn't too glamorous by the end, he had already decided by the age of 29 that he wanted to truly live and experience life in all its forms. In what many consider the prime years of a football player, Schürrle retired from the sport. Apart from the newfound passion to make the most out of his remaining years, he was also fed up with how money ran the whole sport and everything was incentivized with more money. He felt hollow and experienced what many of us common folks face in our daily jobs every day. The German decided to take control of his destiny and has been on a path to enlightenment ever since. He regularly participates in extreme adventure sports and can be occasionally spotted on mountain climbing expeditions or running marathons. He has even started a few business ventures with Mario Götze. So what made a winger who was once compared to Hazard and Neymar quit the sport to take the road less traveled? This is the bizarre yet insightful story of Schürrle's rise to fame in football before turning over a new leaf to explore the hidden wonders of existence. Schürrle rose through the youth ranks and made his professional debut for Mainz at the age of 18. Primarily playing on the left wing, he was tasked to play all across the front line from time to time. The 2009-10 season turned out to be a decent debut campaign with 5 goals and 3 assists across the season. Mainz had been recently promoted, and a relatively unknown Thomas Tuchel was at the helm during their best years in recent history. The next season put the Mainz side along with Schürrle on the map after they exceeded expectations by qualifying for the Europa League, while the winger bagged 15 goals and 5 assists in the Bundesliga. The highlight of this season came via the Allianz Arena when the boy band of Mainz, made up of Louis Holtby, Adam Szalai and André Schürrle, beat the Giants 2-1 to make it 18 out of 18 points from the first 6 league matches. Their corner flag celebration further made them popular amongst fans around the world. The bigger clubs had taken notice of Schürrle's potential, and in the summer of 2011, he left for Bayer Leverkusen. He played regularly in the league and contributed with 7 goals and 6 assists across the season. There were flashes of brilliance visible in his game, even if the goal output didn't do him justice. His ball striking was magnificent, which made him especially useful from central areas of the pitch. The top brass of the Mannschaft was also taking a keen interest in the youngster's development with the upcoming Euros in mind. The next season turned out to be a step up for him as he got 11 goals and a further 7 assists in the league. The majority of his appearances came from the second striker role as opposed to the left wing, and the central position clearly suited him well. Cameos at international friendlies had started for the German back in the 2010-11 season when he was still at Mainz. He made the most of his limited game time by scoring or assisted whenever he was called upon from the bench. He was called up for Euro 2012 but only made 2 cameos off the bench. Germany lost to Italy in the semi-final. Schürrle wasn't called upon that day. In the summer of 2013, Mourinho moved to Stamford Bridge for his second stint in London. The very first signing for him was Schürrle from Leverkusen for 22 million euros. He would be deployed on either wing and occasionally at centre forward, but Mourinho never got around to giving him a string of regular starts to build his confidence. He would often be on the bench, only coming on for the last 10 or 5 minutes, if at all. The first season on English soil came with 9 goals and 3 assists across all competitions. He started in the second leg of the Champions League quarter-final against PSG and scored a crucial opening goal to help send them through to the semis. But Atletico Madrid rolled over the Blues while Schürrle could only get 15-minute cameos in both legs. But the best moment of his career was creeping up to him, leading to the summer of 2014. Brazil hosted the World Cup and Germany were drawn with Portugal, Ghana and the USA in the group stages. Schürrle came off the bench in the opening match to provide an assist to complete Muller's hat-trick against Portugal. He broke the deadlock against Algeria in the round of 16 in the 92nd minute of extra time, but his most impressive performance was on display in the semi-final against Brazil. The host nation was shattered as they watched their team concede 5 goals within the first 30 minutes of the match. The whole world was watching and couldn't believe what was happening on the pitch as goals rained down on Brazil. In the second half, Klose was taken off to bring Schürrle on. What many expected to be a quiet second half turned even more humiliating for the hosts as he scored a brace to make it 7. The final against Argentina was set for a grand viewing. An intro to Christoph Kramer in the 30th minute allowed Schürrle to take his place. After a nerve-wracking 90 minutes, without any goals and the extra time minutes away from heading to its conclusion, everyone was prepared to go to penalties. With just 7 minutes to go, the winger picked up the ball close to the halfway line and drove upfield on his own. He dribbled up the left flank and perfectly crossed the ball onto Götze's chest, which Mario controlled and volleyed to perfection. Even though Götze received most of the limelight and plaudits, the pass made by Schürrle was just as crucial as the goal. He was on top of the world. After the highs of the World Cup, it was time to return to London. The 2014-15 season saw Hazard emerge as a shining star in the squad. He completely made the left wing position his own, which meant even fewer minutes available for Schürrle. This time, he was mostly deployed on the right wing, which was clearly not his preferred position. The season started with a goal for the German against Burnley on the first day. It was a result of that brilliant Fabregas pass, which left the whole Burnley defence frozen. But the remainder of the year was marred by limited minutes and underwhelming performances. It was clearly not working for him under Mourinho's tough love and limited opportunities. He moved back to the Bundesliga with a loan move in January of 2015, which was made permanent for €32 million by Wolfsburg. The German lifted the DFB Pokal with his new club, while also getting a Premier League winners' medal after Chelsea won the league that season. He returned to his former self with 9 goals and 5 assists in 29 Bundesliga appearances in 2015-16. He thrived on the left flank again and proved exactly why he was so highly rated in the first place. These performances piqued Dortmund's interest, who believed he was exactly what they needed to add more dynamism to their attacking options. In July 2016, Schürrle moved to Borussia Dortmund and went on to lift the DFB Pokal once again at the end of that season. But his time at Dortmund was plagued with injuries and hence limited opportunities. After 2 seasons without much positive impact, it was decided to loan him out to Fulham. Schürrle returned to the English capital once again in the summer of 2018. He scored 6 goals in 24 Premier League appearances for the club, including a beautiful strike against Burnley, which was one of the best goals that year. He was sent out on loan again in 2019, this time to Russia. He played inconsistently for Spartak Moscow and could only appear in 18 games all season before calling it quits in the summer of 2020. Even though he had at least a solid 3 to 4 years left as a professional footballer, the German couldn't take it for much longer. He had grown weary of the similar routines, and the pressure of professional football had already gotten to him. He found it hard to keep quiet and continue on the same path. Schürrle lost faith in football as he was very disillusioned by the demands at the top level and how volatile the environment was. The retirement announcement came as a shock to many, but Schürrle seemed to have considered it deeply for a long time. He was self-aware enough to admit that a lot of people close to him may not understand his decision to leave what was a lifelong dream for many. But the highs were fading away and loneliness gripped the German everywhere he went. He couldn't get along with his teammates as he questioned his own motives to be where he was, bouncing around clubs, living off the reputation from years ago, and realizing that the sport he once loved had abandoned him into a lonely corner. The thoughts of leaving it all behind had become festering in his mind for years. Schürrle was upset about the facades and appearances one had to keep up in order to remain valuable in the industry. The discipline that governed his early life also played a part in this decision, because quite frankly, he was sick of living on someone else's terms. Along with Götze, he invested in different business ventures and started living each day more purposefully. This was evident from his social media posts, which have gained a lot of followers since his transformation. He now regularly goes mountain climbing and runs marathons when he can. The recently discovered adventurous spirit of the former footballer seems to make him much more fulfilled than any of the last few years of his career. The 33-year-old has been taking on physically and mentally demanding challenges ever since COVID died down. He also puts out wisdom-filled captions with his posts and seems to be on a journey to understand life on a deeper level. Who can blame him? We're all looking for something more profound than work, money, and sustenance. The German winger will always hold a special place in his fellow countrymen's hearts for that past that led to winning the biggest trophy football has to offer. Schurrle is on to even bigger and more meaningful achievements now. Do you think Schurrle made the right decision to quit at 29, or should he have waited a little longer for his fortunes to turn around? Let us know below.